Alright everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about algebraic expressions as well as expressions with exponents and powers. So let's just jump right into it and explain what an algebraic expression is. And all an algebraic expression is just a mathematical expression with a variable in it, like x here, w here. And yeah, let's just jump into solving some of these. So here, number 3, we have 15x, where x equals 4. So in order to solve these, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is replace x with its value given in the problem. So we have here 15 times 4, which will be equal to 60. And I'll just move on to number 5 here. If you want, you could pause the video and work through these and then come back when I've done the rest of the work and compare your answers, see how you did, correct any errors. So here we have w minus 8, where this should be a w here, where w equals 20. So again, we'll just replace the w with its value. So this equals 20 minus 8, which equals 12. That's your final answer there. And moving on to number 7, we'll do 5 plus m, which is equal to 7, which is equal to 12. Final answer. And now a little trickier, but still not difficult. With a little division, you got 24 divided by f at f equals 8. So 24 divided by 8 is equal to 3. And some multiplication down here now. Again, we're just plugging in 4 for m. So 2.5 times m, which is 4, is going to be equal to 10. And now some fractions here. And if you guys remember, we need to use common denominators to subtract fractions. So replace 5y for 5/6. So 5/6 divided by 1/2 is equal to 5/6 minus 3/6. So the final answer would then be 2/6, or simplified, 1/3. Alright, now I'll move on to some examples involving exponents. And now, for those of you who don't know, just a little terminology. When you're dealing with expressions such as this, like n raised to the power of 3, n is what's known as a base, and the 3 is known as the exponent. And just like a little more vocab for you. Let's say you have x to the power of 2, this is what's known as x squared. And x to the power of 3 is known as x cubed. That's just a little terminology they like to throw around. It could confuse some beginners or students that aren't grasping the concept right away. That's all that means. And typically, once you get past 3, it'll just be like x to the 4th power, x to the 5th power, and so on. So let's just get into what this is actually really saying here, n to the power of 3. So there's no value here, so there's nothing to substitute in. So all this is equal to is just n times n times n. See, n 3 times, that's where you get n cubed. So let's apply this concept now with an actual base here, not a variable. So 7 to the power of 3, or 7 cubed, is equal to 7 times 7 times 7. Which, if you do the math, well, this is simplified down a little bit. This will be 7 times 7, which is 49, times 7. equals 343. It's a pretty large number. I wouldn't expect you to do that in your head, but I got a calculator on hand. And here's another important characteristic of exponents. Now, as you see from this rule here, you got 7 to the third is equal to 7 times 7 times 7. So let's say you have 1 to the power of 1,000. All this is equal to is just 1 times 1 times 1 dot all the way on till 1,000 ones. But in the end, you're always going to be equal to 1 because 1 times 1 is 1. So that's an important rule to know, that 1 to the power of anything is still 1. And we'll move on down here to number 29. So here we have this huge number, 10,000 to the power of 1. But as we know from up here, all this really means is 10,000 times nothing else. It's just 10,000. So that's another rule of exponents that's good to know, that anything raised to the first power is itself. It's not anything crazy. They might throw that in there just to mess with you on some questions. And we'll just finish off these exponent examples with another basic. 10 squared, which is equal to 10 times 10, which we know is equal to 100. And that's it for the exponent examples. It's just good to remember this vocab up here, you know, that the base is the number being raised to the power of the exponent, and that x to the power of 2 is known as x squared, x to the power of 3 is known as x cubed. Just some good terms to know. It really helps smooth out the process when you're talking to your math teacher or something, or someone who is more advanced in their math career. And yeah. We'll just move on. We'll do a couple examples involving fractions, which could look scary, but again, you just go back to that basic definition of an exponent, and all this really is just 1/4 times 1/4. As we know, multiplying fractions, you just multiply straight across. So 1 times 1 is 1, over 4 times 4 is 16. Now you'll notice you'll receive the same answer if you break this down into 1 squared over 4 squared, which is also acceptable, and you'll receive the answer 1 over 4 times 4, which is 1 over 16. Just a couple ways of looking at this that might give you a different perspective, make it easier to understand. And we'll run through another one here. So this is equal to 3 times 3 times 3 over 5 times 5 times 5, which is 27 over 125. Now, I don't think there's really much simplification you could do there. Yeah, I think that's as simple as it gets. So that'll be your final answer there. I'll just do one more here. You got 1 times 1 times 1, all over 6 times 6 times 6, which is going to be equal to 1 over 216. Again, not too crazy. It's important to understand that basic concept of what these exponents really are and how they work. You know, it's simple multiplication when you just break it down to its basic form. Now let's combine these two concepts we learned about today with your algebraic expressions as well as exponents. So here we have x squared, where x is equal to 3/4. So like we did in the first half of this video, we just substitute 3/4 in for x. And we know that is equal to 3 times 3 over 4 times 4, which is 9/16. Final answer. and then we'll run through one more here before we end the video. And let's substitute 1 in for x. So we got 1/3 to the power of 4, which equals 1 to the 4 over 3 to the 4, which is just going to be equal to 1 over 81, because we know 1 to the power of anything is just 1. And yep, that'll be it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and if this video helped you out on your homework or something, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with some of your classmates. Have a nice day.